Welcome to the 4D Chess Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Hobbled, and today on the show, we are locked in an epic narrative game showdown. We have Obama versus Trump, and they are dueling for the court of public opinion, where the loser's prize is life in prison. This is a raw messaging war where the spin rules reality and the deep state is scrambling to bury the truths. And today I'm going to prove to you that Obama is tied to the British banking system, right? Which is fueling the endless wars and debt traps that we all, as every country on this planet goes into, right? Except for Russia, because they avoided the banks, right? I got hard receipts today, and I'm going to show you that he gets his marching orders from the imperialist beast. We're going to deep dive into the Russia hoax as well. I'm going to break it down. Obama actually responded to Trump's treasonous claims, and we're going to talk about it all today. I'm also going to prove to you today the Mar-a-Lago raid was not for classified documents. It was for treasonous documents, and I can show it to you. And I'm going to allege what I know is on the white envelopes. If you don't know what the white envelopes are, you will after today's show. I'm your host, Patrick Hobbled. Thanks for playing today. Let's go ahead and start a new match. This is 4D Chess. All right, welcome back to the show. We are live streaming on X. If you are watching, hello, how are you today? We are live streaming on YouTube and Rumble. And thank you to my audio listeners, Spotify and Apple. Give us a follow on all of those, or whichever one you prefer. I prefer all of them. Sort of helps me out a little bit. Give us a comment as well. We can start to get some sponsors, and this show will take off even bigger than it already is. It's an absolute crazy day. No show yesterday. We were down in the New Braunfels, Texas area, near where the floods were. But ironically, we were not doing any flooding. We were doing floating. Floating with some beer, floating down some rivers with some kids that were having a good time. And we were just having a good old summer Texas day. I apologize. I probably should have posted something, but I didn't. I was just having, it was sort of an impromptu trip. So we went ahead and just sort of knocked that out. That is one of the best places on earth. If you have not been, you need to go down and float the Comal River in Texas, down in New Braunfels. It's right by Schlitterbahn, the world famous water park. So if you wanted to ever check both of them out, it's a good little trip for your family. We had a great time. My little one did not even use the tube. He swam about 2 miles with shoes on. I was like, and I'm super sore. Man, I couldn't move this morning at all. The river was about half the speed of its normal speed. And so there was a lot of paddling, but we had a great time and we are back. That being said, yesterday, Trump went ahead and accused Obama of treason, sort of via social media. But it's all a big mess. Guys, you can't look at one issue. This is the problem that everybody has. Oh, you want to talk about the You're deflecting from the Epstein list. No, it's bigger than that. There is no Epstein list. Like it's all a war between Obama and Trump. It always has been. It always has been. It's the previous admin with the incoming admin, right? Back in 2016. This is the battle. Okay? And we're gonna just dive in, right? Like we always do, right? You think that we broke free from Great Britain in 1776. We didn't. You got to remember, it's the same thing. You have the old empire and the new empire. You have the British imperialist system, and you have the Hamilton's American system. Old empire, new empire. Obama, Trump. It's always the same. You never really get rid of each other. It's always a tug of war. It's always back and forth. Never, ever will it just be like, oh, you win, I lose, I quit, bye-bye. It doesn't work like that unless you kill some people. And that is definitely being alleged by our president, which I love. I love a good shit talker. I don't like people dying, but he's definitely talking some shit. Now, their old system of endless wars and debt is what they want, right? And you have you're talking about Obama, who bombed Syria and invented ISIS, and ISIS attacked all the countries. That's what they want. And you have the peace president over here, Donald Trump. It's basically war versus peace, right? This is the binary show today. Okay? The international banking cabal prefers, and they are the ones pushing this, they prefer Obama. And the London elites prefer somebody like Obama, right? That's why they like the Federal Reserve. And that's why the rates are still high for the Federal Reserve because these are tactics on the chessboard. High rates hurt America. They are trying to, I can't say it any more simple, whatever. I can't say it any more clear. Everything that this side is doing is to hurt America and or Donald Trump. Now, they'll convince you otherwise, of course, but everything that Donald Trump is doing is trying to help America and all of us. This is why I can't stand people that just don't understand this thing, right? Trump is a massive threat, right? His American system is a massive threat because it cuts off their control. He's going to boost jobs. The economy right now is like a dragster doing a burnout. We are just burning our tires in place, and all we have to do is release the emergency brake. In the left side, the Democrats, whatever you want to call it, it's bigger than that. Obama and all the things that he controls and the banks, the centralized banking systems, they are holding us back. And they hope to hold us back another 3 years, right? But we have this thing in the news called the Russia hoax, right? Tulsi Gabbard went on over the weekend and basically said that the Russia hoax was fake. It was treasonous. They withheld a presidential brief. I was trying to think of the best way to say it. But before I even get into the details of the Russia hoax, I want you to look at this Russia hoax. I want you to look at the politics. Look at all of it. Don't watch the news tonight with the volume on because that's how they psyop you. Step back. I got the news on right now, but I don't listen to the news. I just sort of watch the news, right? You watch the headlines. Watch what they're covering. Don't listen to how they're covering it because they're trying to cover it in a way to convince you, right? So in order for you to really understand the Russia hoax, you have to understand how it works. Not the Russia hoax, but politics. We're going to look at politics through what I call the holy trinity of politics, right? This is the holy trinity. There's a little what do you call it? Blasphemous, whatever. It's the holy trinity of politics. You're going to look at it through these 3 games. There's 3 games that we always look at, right? The first one is the easiest one to understand. This is called the resource game, right? It is the, sorry, reading news at the moment, right? So you got the resource game, you got the power game, and you got the narrative game. These are not abstract ideas, guys. They're how the world really works, right? No better to understand. You got to understand how the world works before you start understanding how politics works. The world works with these 3 games. So when you watch the news, always view them through the 3 games. The Russia hoax, it's a textbook example of all 3 of these games firing on all cylinders, right? I'm going to break it down super simple. We're going to pull in some history. We're going to do some receipts. We're going to do this week's news, a little bit of Epstein, a little bit of this. It's all going to make sense. And if you're brand new to this stuff, even if you don't like politics, I can promise you I can explain it in such a way that is so simple to understand. It's right there. Nobody talks about it because this would give it away, right? Even politicians don't like to admit this, right? And if you're already an expert, this show is exactly for you because a lot of you suck at messaging, right? Politicians suck at messaging. All you have to do is message things the right way in its simplest form, and that prevents other people from messaging back. And that's a big part of it, right? So first up is going to be the resource game. This one's really simple. It's all about snatching up good stuff, right? Oil, diamonds, minerals, controlling markets, creating monopolies, right? This happens globally. This game is played geopolitically a lot more than, say, locally. Locally, they're still going to fight for that 20% kickback and some other stuff on the local politician level. But the resource game is played on the big level, right? Why did they want to move in? Why do they want to move into Ukraine? Right? Because Ukraine is next door to Russia. What does Russia have? $100 trillion worth of resources. They got more natural gas than anybody, right? Imagine a huge board where everybody's hoarding gold mines, right? Or oil fields, and they jack up those prices to control everything. This is what they want. On the big stage, this would be like NATO looking at Russia, like I said, right? They just want to carve it up for the resources, right? Every move here in the resource game is driven by money or value, and it bleeds into other games. You also have to deal with very, very large companies, very, very powerful companies, right? A lot of times your military industrial complex is trying to give you their resources while they try to capture more resources for BlackRock and things like that, right? What's crazy here is that you use the power game, which I'm about to tell you about, to grab the resources in the resource game. So you get the power game and the resource game, right? In the power game, this is where politics is essentially just a straight up fist fight. Okay, this is about raw, straight message contest. You got job titles, right? Job titles affect this, and they control these things we call levers, right? And it goes anywhere from the principal of a school pulling levers of power over teachers because they have more power, all the way up until the, to the sheriff of the, the state, state sheriff's office, and then the deputies right below. He can't do anything, right? Different levels of power happen these things. Think about like a president, right? He's commander in chief. He has all the military strings he can pull. You got the attorney general. She has all the legal and justice strings she can pull, right? You got senators. They can block bills and don't vote, this and that. Everybody's got different levers of power, some of them more than others. Heads of state are the heavy hitters in this department, right? Kim Jong-un, President Xi, those guys are, you can't do much against them, right? They got their own countries, But it's super tough to pull these levers of power, right? In the power game, when you have thousands of employees, a lot of them pretty high up, and they're against you, right? So if you're like, oh, President Trump is in charge of, Pam Bondi's in charge of the DOJ. Okay, well, Pam Bondi's in charge of the DOJ, but that doesn't mean people down below her aren't subverting her power, right? And they do it in such a sneaky way, right? They may call in sick, or they may mess up a report, or they may leave something out, or they might, fire somebody who's doing a good job, and they try to hide it for another reason. All of that local bullshit politics that you hate at your job is being played in the power game. It's a lot of shit you can't see, right? But this is effectively what it is. You have to have the power game, right? For instance, if you're eyeing bombing, say, nuclear sites in Iran, right? You might flex your military, you might flex your dick, right? You got big dick contest, right? This is a power game. You're going to show the other countries that you can do this. You're going to show the other people in the Pentagon that you can straight up dominate and do whatever you want, right? Then there's the narrative game. The narrative game is the one that's being played out right now. All I see on TV is the narrative game. You got Trump saying one thing. Obama's countering with another. You got CNN and MSNBC saying one thing. You got Fox saying another. You have congressmen now starting to tweet and post. They were given orders not to, by the way. They didn't even come out until Trump said the stuff today, right? But the narrative game, this is the fight for your mind. They are fighting for it. This is psychological operations. And trust me when I tell you, there are floors in the Pentagon and floors in the CIA. Floors, like floors of people, like 7th floor, 6th floor, 5th floor, hundreds of thousands of people that their only job is to design media to capture your mind. It's about convincing the majority. You have to convince the majority. So you got one side fighting for the majority and another side fighting for the other majority. And there's only one majority though, Everybody gets spun. So if you lose this one, then you're done. You can't win, right? It's like trying to bomb a country for no good reason, right? Let's say I wanted to go bomb Iran's nuclear sites right now. I didn't tell you. I just did it. And then when you come back, you're like, why did you do that? I'm like, I don't have to tell you, right? You're not winning the narrative game, right? That means somebody else could go on the news and be like, he's a dictator. He's an authoritarian. He did that because he wants to kill a bunch of people. And if you don't say anything back to that, then you lost the narrative game. And now people are going to vote against you. Don't ever forget, the rule of the game is to do this to keep the votes. Nobody wants to play the narrative game. Trust me, if they didn't have to message you, they wouldn't message you. They don't have to tell you. Go back 50 years. They only told like 3 channels what to say. And even that was like, you barely got anything. You see how this works? They don't want a message. But now social media sort of changed the game. They have to message. And the only way that they can get funding for Congress or approval for your votes or anything like that is they got to put some shit out there. They have to convince you. They have to. So the Epstein list. The left has put all of their stuff into the Epstein list, right? Trump is nailing the narrative game this week. He wasn't a few weeks ago. They didn't know what to do. But this week, he has shifted his eyes off the Epstein case. And everybody's like, well, he's distracting from the Epstein case. First off, there is no Epstein case. Second off, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? There is no list because I can disprove all of it. He's not letting the deep state knock him off track. Like he's not doing that. There's no Epstein list. Take a look at this. This is from November 19th, 2024, 10 days or so after Trump won the election. What is in front? That is a paper shredder in front of the Department of Justice. And Oversight Project said that it stayed there 2 months. It's basically stayed there until, not 2 months, it was about a month and a half. It stayed there from early November to the time Trump actually visited there. What do you think it was doing? Do you think it was shredding documents? Who was in charge when that truck was there? Merrick Garland, the most corrupt attorney general in the history of the world. You had Christopher Wray, the FBI building, right around the corner, actually. You had Joe Biden giving orders to Merrick Garland and the DOJ. Do you see how this works? And then you had all the people underneath, Michael Colangelo. They all prosecuted Trump. They all hate Trump, right? They all have all these things. Bill Clinton had sway back then. He still does. He's a Democrat all day. You had Democrats in power with a shredding truck in front of the Department of Justice. And now you're going to tell me that Trump is hiding the Epstein list? You see what I put on it? This was my quote. I said the previous admin destroyed the evidence to protect Trump. That's what you're arguing. If you are going to, and there's several people online that just keep hammering me about this. If you're going to argue that Trump is hiding the Epstein list because he's on it, you're an idiot. Like, I don't have another word for you. You are just an idiot. That is top shelf retardism. Retardism of the highest caliber. You are a special species of human if you actually believe that the previous administration did not destroy evidence on the Epstein list, which is not even a list. It's a bunch of testimonies and a bunch of reports. Well, Trump's in the report. So fucking what? He said, she said, just like E. Jean Carroll said that she was raped. So what? Prove it in court. Don't charge him civilly. Take him to court. Now, that being said, if you're going to call somebody treasonous, you need to take him to court. It's a lot harder to prove that one. That's where Trump's at. We're playing a life or death game right here. But I want to show you a couple clips that just prove what I'm talking about this narrative game. We had Nicole Wallace has a podcast. This is a whole nother show that we're going to do later this week where the left is actually trying to make all these podcasts. The right was dominating during the election, and we're getting close to the midterms. And so you got the left is like pushing, and they're funding this. Who's funding it? I don't know. They're pushing all of these podcasts, and these Democrats are going on there. And you have people like MSNBC hosts that are now pushing this politics. And what's crazy is that they make it to the top of the polls on the New York Times like podcast list, right? This is all set up. It's all a setup. It's all fake. It's a messaging game. They have to get out the things that they use to message people to convince the most people, and that's why it's the top of the list. It's not the top of the list because people listen to it. This show here is not affiliated with any CIA or politician or anything like that. This is nothing but real stuff I'm giving you. That's why they want it censored. They don't want me saying these things. I'm too small. I'm too small for them to care at the moment. If I got 10 million followers and I was doing a show like this, I would be killed. They don't want this information out there. Why? Because they want to control the information. And so they give people like Nicole Wallace and Rachel effing Maddow a podcast. And this was the other day. I just want you to listen to what she says right here.
Like real value in making sure that we're covering them in such a way.
She's talking about covering Trump. Make sure we cover them in such a way. I'm going to go back a little bit. We'll play a little bit. But this
like real value in making sure, like real value.
Back up.
Like real value.
Deportations without due process. And I mean, the grifting ahead of.
No, I'm going to set it up. She's going to talk about the narrative game. Just watch it. This is okay. And before we really go on with this, Nicole Wallace right here on the screen, she didn't get a job in the first Trump administration, and she went straight into this. Now, she was recruited for the CIA from her college in Berkeley years ago. She's a little older. She's looking younger, but she's older. Trust me. She's worked in 2 administrations. She worked for Bush Sr., CIA all day long. Then she tried to apply into the Trump administration because that's what the deep state does. They keep people sort of in the wings, that's theirs. And then when they really want to put them in positions, they sort of stack their resumes and be like, oh yeah, I'll hire this person. And so she's been bitter ever since she didn't get into the first Trump administration to do the damage. So she's now doing the propaganda damage on the narrative game. All of this is backed up, verifiable. I'm not speaking out of my ass. I'm not making these up. I've done my research, right? CIA agent right here, Operation Mockingbird.
Venue to go visit some kids for Mrs. Bush. Like it's all out in the open.
Yeah.
Right here.
Although I do feel like there's still like real value in making sure that we're covering them in such a way that is not the stories that they want us to tell. And
that's the whole game. She knows the game. She won't ever say what it is, but she basically just said, we're going to make sure that we cover the stories that they don't want us to tell, right? That's all it is. Notice, as a journalist, she didn't say, we're going to make sure we get to the truth, right? We don't care if he committed treason, right? Trump wants us to cover treason, so we're not going to cover treason. We need to cover something else. That's what she's saying. It's so ridiculous.
Not the topics they want us to be covering. So,
of course,
the whole provocation, like yanking our chain stuff, like, the 2020 Trump 2028 stuff and all those things are designed to get us to react, right?
You see, she's even talking tactics. Now, this is tactics from the other side, but she's still talking tactics.
Hey, tap your moral compass, see if it's working.
Yeah.
We must express outrage because he's done an outrageous thing, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Like, I understand how that all works, but there is, I feel like, real value in making sure that we are telling the stories that are not the stories of their choosing. And so, like, one of the things that I've been thinking.
Enough of her. I can't. That woman is just something special. So that's where we are. That's where we are. So MSNBC today, right? And I've been like, dude, do you want to see? Look at the messaging. Look at the freaking messaging on this. This is when this came out on, what was it, Sunday? Maybe even Saturday? Saturday came out on Saturday? Let's see here. Somebody reposted this for me. Right. Yellow guy. Where's the yellow guy? No. Anyway, I have a list. I have a list of all of the Democrat politicians, as soon as I could find it here, all of the Democrat politicians, and if they had mentioned, if they mentioned the treasonous claim from Tulsi Gabbard. They didn't even mention it. Nobody posted it. Not a single freaking person posted whether or not, like right here. Here it is right here. You see this? Below is the list of every Democrat politician. They got their orders. Look at that. No. Nobody mentioned it. Not a single person. They didn't mention it on the media or a post or say anything on the news stations. Look at this. Every single one. All 500 of them. 500. Not a single one. Now, why is that? Because they're trying to win the narrative game. It's pretty tough to argue against treason. So what's the best play? The best play is to shut the fuck up. They got orders. They were told to shut up. Orders by who? Most likely Obama. And most likely he got his orders from somebody else across the pond, which I'll prove to you in a second, right? What did MSNBC do instead? Well, they dodged all of this stuff. They didn't even know it. The president even said today, I watched him say live, Obama committed treason. We have the proof. They pivoted they went to a small little commercial break, probably to talk about what they were doing. And when they came back, they were showing an African-American traffic stop where he was assaulted, and those cops should go to jail, of course. And then they pivoted to Malcolm Jamal Warner and the Cosby Show, right? So they went police brutality in the Cosby Show. And then they went, because they had 3 African-Americans on the set, they asked about Breonna Taylor and the sentencing that she got. So the president calls for treason against the black president, the first black president, but their narrative is going to blow up. You can't have your former narratives blow up. If your former narratives blow up, then you lose all the credibility. Now, you might be saying they don't have credibility anyway, and they don't for anybody that can think, right? CNN is doing the same thing. Here's your common sense. CNN for years said that Hunter Biden's laptop, and he's in the news as well, Hunter Biden's laptop was not even legit. They were proven wrong. They lied about all that. Conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory. The first thing after Trump called Obama treasonous today, they just said, this is crazy, ad hominem attack, ad hominem attack, ad hominem attack. They don't have anything. They can't argue anything to this. So what do? They shut up. They don't say anything, right? They pivot to the Epstein. That's all they have. They don't have anything else, right? The Epstein drama is what they put their eggs in. This is all their eggs are in this damn basket. They got nothing else. Now, they're going to try to fabricate something else. I saw a story today where some intel report said that the Iran nuclear sites were not damaged. Do you see how it works now? Notice it's not even about the intel sites. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about did he commit treason or did he not. I'm talking about the play, the actual play of the game. A few weeks ago, he eliminated Israel's narrative game by destroying the nuclear sites. Israel can't bomb them anymore. Israel's pissed, right? All the people that want war, which is the British banking cabal and all the elites, they want their war because that makes money and debt for you. Now the Iran nuclear sites may not be damaged. They're going to inch back into that. They're going to try to convince people that they need to go bomb Iran nuclear sites again. Why? Because the war profiting machine is crazy. But anyway, back to CNN. They said Hunter Biden's laptop, and they dismissed it as Russian disinformation. Do you not remember this shit? Or the COVID lab leak. Oh, that's crazy talk. You're crazy. Don't even think. That's not even plausible, right? If you change the channel, I watch 4 news channels at once. You see this? I watch 4 news channels at once so that I can see the plays. I don't care what they're saying. It doesn't matter what the fuck they're saying. It only matters what you believe. Are you getting the game yet? They don't care. Fox, if you flipped over to Fox, they're all saying Tulsi Gabbard is got these documents and claims of treason and seditious conspiracy. Do you ever wonder why nobody ever gets prosecuted? Like, this is probably the reason. I mean, I think Obama will get prosecuted. I do think that he's going to deliver on that. And I'm not excited about a man losing his life or anything like that. I get excited because the people that have claimed that he is this good guy now have to eat their words. That is what I get excited about, because I love watching them pivot out of that, how uncomfortable it is, right? But you had that shredder truck. You can't possibly put all of your eggs into the Epstein basket without considering the fact that a shredder truck in the previous criminal administration was in charge of the files that you're screaming about. Like, it is absurdity. Absurdity. I got another one here. I had another one. Where did it go? I got it bookmarked. We're going to watch this. Do not think for a second that you should be thinking, oh, he's hiding it from the Epstein list. He's not hiding anything from the Epstein list. Listen to Chris Cuomo.
Information related to a cover-up. Yes, there is a cover-up of information related to Jeffrey Epstein, his associations, and allegations related to those same associates. Wait, so there's definitely and intentional concealing of information. Now, here's the weird part. It's not by the Trump administration. And I don't know why they're not telling you this. I really don't. I've been reaching out to AG Bondi. Always had a solid relationship with her. I'm reaching out. Ro Khanna, I'm going to talk to about this, the Democrat, because he's got a bill to release all the information. There's going to be a problem.
Well, who is it then? If it's not the Trump administration covering up, who is it? Is it Biden? No, he's eating oatmeal. Who is it?
Problem with that, by the way, which I'll get to in a second. And it's a real problem. It's something to think about. But I don't know why Roe or Bondi or Trump or Bongino or Patel or any of these people are telling you who's concealing it and why. And no, it's not the FBI.
Who is it? It's not the FBI. It's not the DOJ. Who is it?
It's not the deep state. Okay? That's the boogeyman bullshit that these people are selling you to, profit on their podcast.
100%.
Two separate judges.
There's judges that are not letting it go. And where are they?
In New York. Concealed, redacted, okay? The names of accusers and accused.
Why don't they tell you this? Why don't they tell you? People are dumb. So you're telling me that the Democrats are going to just, the MAGA base is fracturing. Mr. President, why are you hiding this? Why are you Congress voting this? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Why? Why are they trying to push that? Because it controls the narrative. It controls the narrative game. Back to the 3 games. Most of the show today is the narrative game. There is some power game, right? If we went back to the Iran-Israel situation, that's all resource game, right? They want the land. It's 1,000-year-old stuff. We're not talking that today. We're talking what you believe, right? And the reason they want to keep pushing that Epstein stuff is because they want you to believe that he's a pedophile. Because everybody can relate on one issue. What issue can everybody relate on? What issue can everybody relate on?
People saying things were done to them and people who are accused of doing things to other people.
Raping little kids. Even prisoners kill you in prison for messing with little kids.
Why? 2 different reasons. One, the accusers are seen as victims, so they are...
That is the left. They love victims. They're all victims, right?
Protecting the identity of them. The people accused are being concealed. Why? Because their lawyers argued and won that absent full investigation of any of the allegations, releasing their names would be highly defamatory. And
so they don't. Do you get it yet? So they don't. So they don't. They just don't. Right? How did somebody counter to this? Well, you got people that are countering this. You have Mike Johnson, right? He's the Speaker of the House. Listen to what he said. Where's the other one? Let's see, bookmarks. So you got the Speaker of the House that came out. We got Tulsi Gabbard coming in a minute, but here's Mike Johnson. Listen to what he said today about people asking about the Epstein list. And this is it. Remember, it doesn't have to be right. And it doesn't matter what you feel like it is or it isn't. What matters is can he get a majority of people to back his logic and reasoning, right? I'm going to use this example again. If there is a country over there and I need to bomb it, I'm not going to tell you why, but if I need to bomb that country and I convince you that they're a threat to us, are you more likely to let me bomb the country? Right? If I say, hey, your family's in danger unless I bomb that country, you're going to be like, oh, go for it. Go for it. But what if I just say, there's a bunch of gold over there and I want to bomb them and take it? What are you going to say? You won't, you'll flip out. You'll go, what do you call it? You'll have an uproar, storm the castle, Louis the 16th moment for me and put me in a guillotine and get rid of me, right? I'm a dictator. I'm an authoritarian. I'm a fascist, right? Whatever he's about to message you, all it has to do is defend the actions of Congress not voting to release the Epstein list. It doesn't matter what you think. It just matters, does the majority lean that way? Here's what he said.
Orchestrated one of the most shameless, dangerous political cover-ups in the history of this country or any government on the face of planet Earth. If the Democrats want to talk transparency, I'm happy to rewind the tape. 366 days ago, President Joe Biden was unceremoniously forced off the Democrat.
You might be saying, why is he talking about Joe Biden? And I got this funny clip. Always have to play this one.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
That's true story, Joe Biden.
And I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
You always got to have a good Biden drop, right? We got a good Biden drop. But here's the deal with this is that he's not going to give you transparency, Democrats, because he doesn't have to. The Democrat side is so small, it doesn't create the uproar, right? Like I said, if I go bomb the country for no reason, I'll be attacked for war crimes. The whole world will come down on me and I'll be in some deep shit. But if I go attack a country and convince my whole country that I did it for a good reason and everybody buys it, then you're good. And they don't have to answer you. The reason Trump winning all 7 swing states was such a big deal is because he won all 7 swing states. If he only won 3 swing states and lost 3, then the Democrat, it would be more of like oh shit, half the country's this way, half the country's that way. No, he won all 7. All 7. Red wave, total domination, which means you can say things like Mike Johnson is saying. I'm telling you right now, if the Senate was 50-50 and Congress was 50-50 and the votes were like George Bush, Al Gore stuff, where you only won by a few, then you couldn't message what he's about to say.
Democrat ticket. Everybody knows why. Even after millions of Americans had already cast their primary votes for him, the self-proclaimed party of democracy threw out their nominee, the sitting president of the United States, for his disastrous debate performance.
And he's rallying us, the right side, the side with logic and reason. And that's a majority of the country. They're like, yeah, we don't have to tell you what's on that shit anyway. Now, what's hypocritical is that a week ago, 90% of the people saying, yeah, we don't have to give you transparency yet because it's us versus the Democrats. Like people online that are like, he's hiding. Even right-wing people like Candace Owens lost their fucking minds. You just look at the strategy of the politics. It's not hard.
On the debate stage, President Biden revealed to the American people what Democrats in Congress spent 4 long years trying to hide, that the President of the United States of America was in rapid mental decline and unable to continue serving as the leader of the free world. I'm going to say that again. The man holding the most powerful office on the face of the earth, who we now know was being propped up by his staff and Democrats in Congress, was in rapid mental decline.
And they hid it, and they didn't give us transparency. And so Mike Johnson's like, we don't have to give you transparency. I'm going to dismiss Congress until Labor Day, and we'll vote on it later. Bitches. Like, effectively, that's what he's saying. And I promise you, some political strategist was probably like, you don't have to say shit. Why would you say anything?
It was as shocking as it was dangerous, and they all participated in it. Nearly every single one of the Democrats who shamelessly attempted to pull the wool over our eyes still holds office today. You ought to be chasing them down the hallways asking for their responses on that. We released a 14-minute long video yesterday with just a small...
No, they're going to be mad. Like, they're going to be mad about this for sure, right? Because here he is taking, like, they're going to cut this, right? This is to convince you on the narrative game. Look, this is call to activism. I can't stand them, but we're going to put it on the show anyway. It says, Speaker Mike Johnson says he'll suspend the House until September to block the Epstein files and brags Trump agreed. They're not leaders. They're accomplices, cowards protecting predators. Never forget it. Do you see how cheesy this is? And then they take a clip out of context. It's basically like
information in a way that is haphazard where they could be
bad
easily...
audio, so I don't even care. But you get the point. You get the point. This is Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen said on TV yesterday that this is his best friend that actually lied in Congress to trying to get him impeached, right? Listen to what he says. This is the enemy. Without a doubt, Michael Cohen is the enemy. Michael Cohen wouldn't have said this.
You speak about your time with Donald Trump as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein, if at all.
So actually, I fell into Trump's orbit around 2005, but I became part of the Trump organization as the executive vice president and special counsel in 2007. From the time that I started...
Remember, this is the enemy. He would put Trump in jail, hands down.
To the time that I finished in 2018, I actually never heard him mention Jeffrey Epstein at all. I never saw Jeffrey Epstein in the office when I was one of the 10,000 hours in Trump's office doing work with him.
The real question is, why is he saying that? The real question is, why is he saying that? Why would an enemy say that? That should have you more nervous than anything in the news at the moment, right? Big thinkers like Noam Chomsky, who I've read his book, Manufactured Consent, nailed it with media propaganda is just trying to control you, right? Michel Foucault, another author, mentioned basically what I'm talking about, showed how power shapes truth through talk in his book Discipline and Punishment from 1975. And Weber zeroed in on this game that I'm talking about, not authoritarianism, what is it? Authority and Bureaucracy in Politics as a Vocation from 1919. This 3-game setup is sort of my spin on it. After reading all 3 of these, I've sort of tweaked it, and I can see it in action. I'm the only one that's really done it with social media. I'm not saying I'm as smart as those guys, without a doubt, but I am saying these patterns are in the media, and all the tactics are there anyway. But what is the big claim at the moment? And it is that the Russia hoax that was fired up, cooked up, made up in 2016 from a MI6, here's your British connection, the bankers. The MI6 agent known as Christopher Steele, who funded the Clinton campaign. Where did he get the money from? He whipped up this thing called the Steele dossier, which was packed with total lies about Trump and Russia. Christopher Steele, MI6, funded campaigns for Clinton, whipped up the Steele dossier, calling Trump a Russian puppet. MI6, intelligence communities people, the deep state, which is propped up by the London elites, as I just said, turned this into illegal probes, investigations, and all of the things. This is back in 2016. Some of you weren't following politics. Those of you new to the show, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. Made up MI6 report, guy who funded Hillary campaign, now created a device that allows for illegal probes and investigations against Trump, like the FBI spying on Trump's crew. Forget the guy's name. What was his name? Something Page. Via a FISA warrant, a secret warrant, probably got from Judge Boasberg, right? Warrants on Steele's garbage, right? To look at where it came from. This is Power Game 101. This is not the narrative game here. The narrative game is messaging to the people. The power game is swinging your dick behind the scenes in order to get shit done, right? Oh, let's use the FBI. Let's create this document and then just put it out. We're going to leak it to the news. They're going to make people think that it's real. And then I could spy. Let's get a secret warrant judge to give us access to his thing. Meanwhile, Russia's helping you out because, they're doing their own thing as a country. They have every right to try to spy on people, do whatever they want, right? Just like China tries to spy on us. We try to spy on them. That's fine. They're trying to be. In March that year, there was a rally in New York on June 4th, 2016. Why was there one? The resource game. Russia started stirring chaos in America to shield their $100 trillion stash from NATO. Ukraine is NATO. NATO is the U.S. We're sort of invading Russia. Why? Because Russia has $100 trillion in assets. It's the resource game driving the power moves here. It's not the power moves driving the narrative game. You see what I'm saying? Russia's like, well, fuck that. What, you're going to try to encroach on us? Well, we're going to mess up your... They had every right to do it. Right? And by December 16, Obama had met with secret people like Comey and the Clapper, and who's the other one? Mine's blanking, but the group that's all under Brennan. There you go. Right? But Obama pushed a new assessment. Right? There was evidence that they stole the election, and it turned out that they didn't. It was just a rally trying to fuck with America so that they would focus on that and get away from attacking Russia. Russia was trying to protect Russians. Shocker. Okay? I know it's probably a little oversimplification of it, but for the most part, Russia was like, well, if you're going to inch towards us, then we're going to go fuck with your rallies and things like that. They didn't send spies or attack. They actually even self-admitted your election system is too complex. We can't control all of your Tarrant County voting, Collin County voting, New York County voting. It's too much. It's too many. They even said, it was like, this is fucking crazy. You don't do that. We can't mess with that. Anyway, so Obama had proof that Russia said all this. What did he do? He changed it and said that they did. By pulling the presidential brief, he pulled the brief that said Russia did not affect the election. He hid that one and gave the president a false one that said that it did. What did Trump say? Trump said he didn't believe it. This should be studied. This should be absolutely studied. Look at this. Where is it at? I don't even know where it is. This should be absolutely studied. This is a clip of fake news telling you that the news is not fake and that President Trump will not accept the fake news and that he should be punished for that. Like, it's absurd. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Here it is right here. Listen to this. This should be studied for years, as Maysmore says.
Reporting tonight, the Washington Post says the president still doesn't accept evidence that Russia interfered and supported him in the election, and those around him know he gets agitated when he even hears about it. The Post spoke with current and former officials who say that his daily briefing is often structured to avoid upsetting him with Russian-related intel only.
Listen to it again. Listen to it from Trump's perspective that you know that it's fake. You know that it's fake.
And supported him in the election, and those around him know he gets agitated when he even hears about it. The Post spoke with current and former officials who say that his daily briefing is often structured to avoid upsetting him with Russian-related intel only in the written brief and not brought up in person. I talked about that with CNN senior political analyst David Gergen, who's an advisor to Presidents Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and Clinton.
Then this guy tries to convince you that Russia actually did something. That's what they did. They tried to get you to think. They tried to get you to think that Russia was guilty. But we're going to move on a little bit. We're going to go back to the bankers. We're going to go back to the bankers. I'm promising you right now, this is the crazy stuff, right? The links are everywhere. There's this woman named Gina Haspel. She was a CIA London station chief. What does that mean? That means you're the highest ranking CIA agent in London. She's the London CIA agent. Okay? She signed off. She said, let's do it for Russiagate. And all of the spying, right? She teamed up with Spygate players like Robert Hannigan and Sir Andrew Wood, who funneled the dossier to the FBI, right? Remember, all this shit came out of England. We're literally at war with England still from 1770. We never left, right? You have people like Nigel Inkster, Nicholas Fishwick. All of these people worked for companies, worked for MI6. Sir Richard Dearlove, former MI6 director. Are you fucking kidding me? Right? You had companies that were MI6 backed, a company called Hacklet, right? They spread the lies. It was a propaganda firm, psychological operations. You had somebody in Australia, Alexander Downer. He was the Aussie UK diplomat in charge of something called Five Eyes Alliance, which is like 5 different intelligence agencies used to spy on America. I'm telling you. Then you had George Papadopoulos, American aide, right, who met with Trump aide Papadopoulos that sparked the FBI probe. He sort of started it. Haspel blocked declassifying these documents and got with Brennan and everybody else. She's like the guilty one. Listen to the director of the FBI tell you who this woman is, and you've never heard of her until 3 minutes ago.
Was a politically funded operation leading Russiagate architects who's remained behind the scenes. She would go on to become Trump's director of the Central Intelligence
Talking about Gina Haspel
Agency. But if you rewind the clock back, and this is something I've told Schellenberg and Taibbi about and many others, in 2016, when Russiagate was launched in England, Gina Haspel was the CIA station chief for England, the #1 intel officer in the United Kingdom. And the reason that's important is because for intelligence operations to be lawfully conducted overseas in any country, England or otherwise, what we call the #1 Office of Director of National Intelligence rep, the DNI rep, Gina in England, has to authorize those offensive operations for intel and law enforcement. And we now know, and we know some more details due to the new reporting, that not only were U.S. FBI and IC officials involved in bumping operations in England, but possibly other intel allies overseas. And none of that could have happened without Gina Haspel's authorization. So,
big time. In England, when is the last time you've heard England in the news? You don't hear England in the news. They're our friend. Like, it's just the Queen. They're not our friend. They never let us go. They just gave us our military and said, okay, you guys can vote, but we're going to control all of your money with the banks. And the global central hub for all things banking is in London. This is the way. You have to fight the banking system. And the only way you're ever going to do that is if you get rid of their arm that is reaching over the pond called the Federal Reserve. That is how you're going to get rid of it. Right? And so what's next? Look at this. What the? Right? As Trump hit office in 2017, the deep state decided to ramp it up, right? So now you've got all this fake reporting going on. Trump's like, fuck you, no, I don't believe you, right? They're flipping out. They're like, he doesn't listen to our intelligence reports, right? We spent all this money. We got reports all over the world say that Russia did this, Russia did this, Russia did this. And Trump's like, fuck you, not doing it, right? And as Trump hits his office in 2017, in the first year of his presidency, the deep state decided to turn up the volume. Rosa Brooks wrote this article, and it was in a piece called Foreign Policy on January 30th, and I want to say 2017, and it is the power game on steroids. She suggests what actually happened. She suggests using cabinet roles and the Constitution to boot the president out on the 25th Amendment. She suggests impeach the president with phony scandals, which they did, right? They tried to do the cabinet thing. They went after his mental whatever, right? Then the Mueller probe in 2017 to 2019, that was the phony one, right? They didn't produce anything. They spent $40 million on it, though, which is really just laundering money. Then they switched to a 2019 impeachment over Trump probing Biden's shady Ukraine deals. Do you remember that one? This is when they lost their shit, is because they were going to make so much money on the war. The British imperialist system needs war. They were going to make so much money on the war, and here comes Trump saying, they're lying to you. They're stealing your money. It's a money laundering operation. And so what did they do? What did Joe Biden do? This is what Joe Biden did.
You remember when Joe Biden was at the Council on Foreign Relations and bragged that he got the top prosecutor in Ukraine fired by the Ukrainian government because he explicitly conditioned the firing of the prosecutor who was investigating Burisma. He expressly conditioned their receipt of $1 billion in U.S.
He bribed him. He said, I'm not giving you $1 billion until you fire that guy who's investigating me and my country money laundering operation.
Financial assistance on the firing of Viktor Shokin, the prosecutor. And he said, son of a bee. He was.
It's so crazy watching him brag about that publicly. It just shows you what an idiot he is.
You know what that $1 billion in financial assistance was? It was a USAID grant.
Our own taxpayer money. We were paying people to not prosecute so that they were paying to get away with money laundering. Do you see what this is? It's so ridiculous. Here he is right here. He admits it.
And I was supposed to announce that
this one has bad audio.
$1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko, and
you can't hear him, but he admits it. He's like, son of a bitch. I didn't give him $1 billion until they fired the guy I wanted to. Here's the UK stuff I'm telling you about. This is the Spygate stuff. This is the UK. So all of these people had everything to do with this is the UK stuff, right? And if you were to just go to Google and type in Epoch Times Spygate poster, I'll do the PDF. If you were to type this in, this is what pops up, and this is what everybody should be looking at. 1/3 of the entire, I'm on the right side, 1/3 of the entire Spygate poster is from England. And it all connects to these people up here. Secretary of State. This is the most evil, treasonous crew. All these guys should be in prison. All these guys should be in prison. Sorry, I got a phone call there. They should all be in prison. We're going to have to take that. It's my kid. He's calling. You see this? This is absurdity. Unbelievable. So what's their counter? Trump is covering the Epstein files. You see how this works? We're going to answer here in a second. Let me show you this clip real quick. Try to balance this. Watch this clip. I'm going to prove this to you right here. Watch this. Remember the white envelopes? Notice what it, okay. Notice no reaction. After this doesn't happen by accident. Are you effing kidding me? This doesn't happen by accident. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 50 people on the screen that were lying. Why? You got people that changed presidential information. You got people that leaked classified information to Wall Street Journal and New York Times. Why? To push the narrative game. You got people playing a game that I'm talking about. Resource game, power game, political game, narrative game, all the things. Power game is the political game. You got all of this stuff going on. This doesn't happen by accident. Who's in charge? That motherfucker's in charge, right? When did Trump know this stuff? In 2018. When did George Bush die? Right in 2018. He knew all this. I promise you, on this card is a message, some sort of listen up, mother effer. I'm coming after you. You got it? It has to be. There's no other explanation for it. Who would have even put him in the programs? Who would have put them in the programs? Service agent leans over towards George W. Come on, man. Who is the president at the time? Who's in charge of the Secret Service? Donald Trump. On that card, I'm straight making the assertion that it said, I'm coming after you, you sons of bitches. That's what I'm saying. Because what happens next gives that away. What happens next gives it away. They raided those white envelopes, right? They raided. Fast forward to 2022, or let's go 2021. By 2021, Trump declassified the documents for that. All of the meeting notes, all thousands of meeting notes, phone call records, emails, all of it for this. Trump declassified that shit. Okay, so where did he put it? Well, remember, they raided his home, and they put that, remember, these turned out to be fake. Those are fake classified. It said classified information, secret, classified, top secret. That's all fake. Jack Smith couldn't even get that approved in court. And Judge Eileen Cannon was like, it's fake. What are you doing? You manipulated evidence. Like, this is crazy talk. All of it was fake. Because think about it. If you have documents, if you have a piece of paper, where's it at? Right there. If you have a piece of paper that says, I killed somebody, it's proof. Let's say you have proof that I killed somebody. Here it is. It's proof. Not only proof, but treason. And you think I have it. What are you going to do? You're going to prison for life if you can't get that paper back. What do? Well, you get the FBI and the DOJ, and you round them up, and you say, go to Mar-a-Lago and get that shit. They broke into his safe. It wasn't there. Trump is smarter than this. He declassified that stuff. He hid it somewhere. They went looking for it. They didn't get it. It's suggested. This article says what to do. Phony this, impeach this, and it even said in the article at the bottom, right? Rosa Brooks even suggested a coup, which is what they tried to do. That's what this is. That's what that is. It's right there. This is so easy to see. It's so easy to see. These are the UK side. They're the ones that get off free. They're the ones that get away with everything. The UK, They're running the whole show because it's tied to the banks. I'm not some grand conspiracy theorist. I'm telling you what I know. In England are some freaking motherfuckers. You don't believe me? This is Obama. Days before he had to days before the CIA had to turn in all of the documents for Spygate. Trump made copies and took them, right? So he had to turn these in. Obama had to turn in documents to the CIA, and this is where he went days before. You know where this is?
What are you here to talk about?
Where is this? 10 Downing Street on March 18th, 2024.
Any advice from the Prime Minister?
Uh-oh. Why are you going to see the Prime Minister? Why are you going to see, who else was there? What did it say? Senior UK political and security officials. You know what that means? You know what that means? That means those England guys. I don't have the picture anymore. Now, this is a high-stakes game. I posted this the other day. I'm just going to read it. It's a high-stake game of chess where the loser goes to prison. Obama's going to jail for prison and life, or the Democrats come back into power in 2028, and Trump will spend 300 or 700 years, if he gets convicted on all of it, in prison. This is a life or death game, guys. It is all or nothing. You got to convict them all and break up the deep state, which is everything on that chart and more that we're not seeing, right? The U.S. Constitution keeps it narrow to prevent abuse in regards to treason. You must show those three things right there. You got to owe loyalty. So the president owes loyalty, right? Obama owes loyalty. You either starting a war against the U.S. or helping enemies, which one could argue he's helping England, right? You're meant to betray, meant on purpose. They withheld information on purpose. You did something real. Yeah, you changed briefings and lied, leaked fake reports. They did all these. You got solid proof. Trump has it. He took it. So they can go get it if they want to. Yeah, but when most people talk treason is conspiracy, they often mean seditious conspiracy, 18 U.S.C. 2384, which is broader and it fits domestic plots better, right? In order to get seditious conspiracy, all Trump has to do is prove that there was an agreement between two people. I just showed you a chart of 50, right? The goals involve force to overthrow the government, block its laws, or seize its stuff. That's going to be hard to do. I don't know if they seized anything. Right? Intent to use force. They plan to make it happen that way. One could article that they use, and that's going to be in the emails and the details. Right? And then there was one real step. Somebody changed it. It's going to be Christopher Steele. Because he took it from England. Right? That's where we are with that. Now, Obama actually issued a statement. This is what he said.
Director Gabbard, give me your response to what we heard from former President Obama there.
This was earlier today, about an hour ago.
Saying that none of this makes
2 hours ago
any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week, in the documents that we will be releasing later this week, that point to the undeniable fact that you laid out in your introduction to this segment, is that the intelligence community had one assessment, that Russia did not have the intent or capability to try to impact the outcome.
We get the point, but he said, that's what he said. Obama's response, it was right here. Right? Out of respect for the office of the presidency. Okay, so he's playing the narrative game. He has to play the narrative game, but he's out of cards. He's definitely out of cards. Because if Trump actually has proof of this, you're fucked. You're screwed. I listed the three things on treason. That's a lot easier than seditious conspiracy because he has to show force on that one. But I'm telling you, man, I've been debating liberals a long time and progressives. And one pattern is definitely clear over time. And it is when they have a strong case, they address the claims, right? Like we all do. And I have a strong case, I go right after the claim. You claim Trump is not on the Epstein. You say Trump is hiding the Epstein list because he's on it. I say there's a shredder in front of the Department of Justice, and the criminals had it before that, and nobody called for it years before that. And yet you're still going to claim that? I go right after the claim, right? Liberals, when they have a case, they go after the claim too. However, when they lack a solid argument or lack a good counter, like, why did the president get a different presidential brief? Why was it altered, right? Why was it withheld by Obama, Clapper, and Comey? Why was an act of treason supported by evidence committed? What's their response? Conspiracy theorist. That's their conspiracy theory, right? That we are conspiracy theorists when this happens. The same thing was said if you said Lee Harvey Oswald acted with or didn't act alone, right? President Obama committed treason. Say it. I'll say it. He did. Just look at it. Just look at it all. None of this shit happened by accident. He committed treason. And the only thing left is the power game. The resource game, sort of a factor, actually, right? Somebody will give him money. He will have, he probably has unlimited money, to be honest with you. He's probably been stealing money for decades and probably got some secret treasury computer thing, right? He's been stealing money for decades. But I promise you, he's guilty of treason, but it's the power game that's going to keep him out of court, or Trump's going to get him in court. I honestly think Trump has enough. Trump has good people around him. He's built the leaks. He stopped the leak. He's built it to where he didn't have leaks before he had leaks. What's crazy is all the other little sub battles that are going to go on because what's insane is that Marco Rubio was confirmed as Secretary of State 99-0. Marco Rubio knew that Russiagate was going on. He didn't say anything, and now he's Secretary of State. Marco Rubio knew. He wrote the fucking report on one of those, like, Russia's still doing this stuff. He knew. He knew all these people were involved and that it was shady. But yet he's still Secretary of State. And he got confirmed 99-0. That should tell you something. 99-0. It would have been 52 to 47 or something like that if the Democrats didn't think that he would keep their lives for them. Instead, it was like 99-0, which tells you that because he wrote that report, that the Democrats thought he was going to do their bidding again. But he flipped loyalty. So if I go back to any of those podcasts like Nicole Wallace's, or I could show you clip after clip after clip where they are just pissed. They are pissed at Marco Rubio. Notice Obama even took a shot. Obama statement. Notice Obama even took a shot. Where does it say it? Do I even have it? He took a shot at Rubio. He's like, it was even confirmed by Marco Rubio. He dropped Rubio's name in his first official response to the treason. They're pissed, right? Another one, Tom Cotton, douchebag, after Tulsi Gabbard released these documents, he filed for a new act called the Department or something Authorization Act, where it cuts down Tulsi Gabbard's department by like 700 people. You can't have that many. You can't have that many people. D&I. You're threatening our intelligence silos. Unbelievable what's going on around here. It's just absurd. The three games are everywhere. You just got to step back and look, right? The resource game is NATO after Russia, right? Bombing Iran. That's the narrative game. It's all around you. That's where we are with this. Who's going to say what? Who's going to convince you of what? Who's going to do what? CNN's calling everybody conspiracy theorists. That means you're right. And that's where we're going to leave it today. A little bit long today, but that's okay. Join me tomorrow. We'll go look at some more politics. I'm your host, Patrick Hobble. Thanks for joining me today. This is 4D Chess, where we just talk tactics. We just talk tactics and common sense. Give us a follow on YouTube, on Rumble, on X. We're 4D_wizard. Just type in 4D Chess to X, and you can get us. And we'll have a good, what day is it? Wednesday? We'll have a good Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Have a good night.